The sun in the tropics doesn't just shine, it claims you. By the third day of my solo retreat, I was blissfully claimed, bronzed, salt-crusted, and entirely off guard. That's when I found Myron, though later I would wonder if it had been the other way around. She was sitting 2 stools down at the beach bar, reading a water-damaged paperback. When she caught me looking, she didn't smile coyly or look away. She just met my eyes and said, "You have the look of someone running from something." "Just work," I said. "Burnout." "Ah," she closed the book. "The Modern Plague." With the silky black hair falling past her shoulders and skin the color of rain-wet earth. She was a stunner, but it was the way she spoke that drew me in. She spoke 4 languages, had opinions about everything, and laughed in a way that made me feel like I'd said something genuinely clever. So when she mentioned the fiesta in her town, just an hour by bus, I agreed before she'd finished asking. The bus was a rusted, crowded iron ribcage on wheels, but I barely noticed. She spoke about the old island, and I listened, captivated by her rhythmic cadence and the promise of joy and peace in her stories. Her soft words wove around my aching spirit so gently, I didn't notice the world outside disappearing. The bus finally lurched to a stop, and we stepped off into darkness so complete it took my eyes long seconds to adjust. The roar of the engine faded into the distance, leaving a silence so heavy it felt physical. No streetlights, no houses, no sound of music or celebration. There was only the moon, a bloated silver orb that turned the world into a landscape of stark whites and ink-black shadows. On either side of the narrow footpath, vast fields of tall, dry Kogan grass stretched into infinity, whispering as a hot breeze combed through them. She kept talking about the fiesta, about a childhood memory, about something I couldn't quite follow. But her voice had changed. Lower, somehow. More deliberate. Or maybe it was the same, and the silence around us was making me hear things. I stole a glance at her. It was the moonlight. It had to be. But her lips seemed darker than before, the color of bruised fruit, and there was something about the way they moved as she spoke, too fluid. When she paused to take a breath, her tongue darted out to wet them, slick, slow, and longer than it should have been. Cold sweat broke across my spine. She turned to face me. Her eyes caught the moonlight, and for one impossible moment, her pupils shifted like a cat's. No, like something older. Then she blinked, brown, warm, human again. She stepped closer. I could smell her perfume, something floral and heavy that I hadn't noticed before. Her lips parted slightly, glistening. "Pity," she said softly. "I like you very much." The world tilted. The stars smeared into streaks. The last thing I felt was the ground rushing up to meet me, the dry grass clawing at my clothes like tiny hands, and her breath, warm, almost sticky, brushing across my forehead. I bolted upright in my hotel bed, a scream dying in my throat. I was drenched in sweat, my sheets twisted around my limbs like a shroud. The morning sun was streaming through the curtains, golden and mocking. "A dream," I whispered, clutching my chest. "Just a fever dream, sunstroke." I sat up, fumbling for the water on my nightstand, and that's when I noticed it. A single black hair on my pillow, and the scent of fresh flowers. I left as soon as sensation returned to my legs, and I knew I would never come back. But sometimes, even in the dead of winter, I still smell flowers, and I wake up with my heart pounding, certain that her grip upon me was absolute and forever.